I'm going to be showing you how to make a 5-seeded loaf, and I'm going to pop off to the market to get the ingredients for it, and I might try and see if I can get a bit of dried fruit too. So I'm a great fan of white bread and butter, still warm, absolutely delicious. Sometimes I like to make a little difference to my bread. So for this idea, I'm going to use a 5-seeded idea, 5 different types of seeds and some prunes. And if I mix the two of them together, it's going to make the most fantastic loaf of bread. It's going to take 4.5 hours to cook, but at the end of it, the flavours of all the seeds and all the prunes will mix up and make a fantastically delicious loaf. Great fun. I love the market. Okay, I've picked up some prunes, which are gorgeous. I've got some of this 5-seeded mix, which I've managed to pick up off one of the stall holders. Beautiful. I love pumpkin seeds. And I'm going to make a large loaf, similar to a basic plain loaf, but I'm going to show you how to add different dried and semi-dried ingredients to it. So, step 1, we open up our Panasonic bread maker, and we're going to add some yeast to it. The trick is always putting the yeast in first. And I'm going to put in about 1.25 teaspoons of dried yeast, and then put the flour on top of that. And what I do with the flour is I usually take this middle part out, and I've got these scales, these weighing scales, which do exactly what they say, and that is weigh. I'm going to get it to 0, so if you see, I've taken the working piece or the baking piece out, and I'm using that as my mixing bowl, which is perfect, and nothing else gets dirty. So, I need 475 grams of strong flour. This is strong white flour, and you need to use strong flour, and strong means it's got a higher gluten content. And gluten is what actually makes bread stand up, rise, and also gives it that texture and quality flavour. Now, what we've got here is an excellent quality flour too. I mean, you're only going to get out of it what you put in. I say that about life as in general, but put in good flour, you'll get a good loaf of bread. Put in cheap, nasty flour, that's what you're going to get. Anyway, 475 on the flour. Lovely. Around here. We need 25 grams of butter, which I've got just here. 25 grams of butter. Now, I like to use just slightly golden rather than pure white sugar, because I think that it just adds a tiny bit of character to the bread. So we are putting in 1.5 teaspoons of granulated sugar, white or brown, or golden, and 1.25 teaspoons of salt. Lovely. Now, this is the basic white bread recipe. I'm going to add 360 millilitres of water. And once that's in, I want to add the 5 seeds to it, but I don't add it in now. What I do is I add it into the raisin and nut dispenser, which these Panasonic machines have, and literally this little area here is where you drop them into. Now, I need to put in 1 tablespoon of each nut, but because I've got a mixed seed already, I'm just going to put 5 tablespoons in. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm also going to put 1 tablespoon of the prunes in. I'll just get these prunes out. Have a look at those. They're lovely. And the pips have been taken out, or the seeds are out. I'm just going to break that up. Rather than chopping it up, I want to break it up into little pieces. So about raisin-sized pieces, which are perfect, and drop those in. And this is all going to get mixed in a bit later. And once this is gone, you probably only need about 1 prune. But you know what I'm going to do? Because I like prunes, I'll put 2 in. Just squash those in. Some a bit bigger than others. Fabulous. Right. Now, I'm going to bake this for 4 hours. So, select options. Bake raisin, 4 hours. I want to go for a nice dark crust. I'm just going to start that off, and that'll be ready for dinner in about 4 hours. So I've actually got the machine with my 5-seeded loaf in there, and I can actually smell the prunes still hanging around, still lingering in the air, but I've let it cool down a little bit. I didn't want to take it out as hot. So, get in there. I'm still going to use a cloth to take it out to make sure that I'm not burning myself at all. Now, smells amazing. And the 5 seeds have really brought out, I think it's going to be the natural oils coming out of the 5 seeds which are going to make it taste really interesting. Now, let's just turn this out. Pull that on the top there. Oh, still a bit hot. Gorgeous. Okay. Now, let's turn that over. Okay, she's good. She's actually pretty much ready to go now. She's warm, which is how I like my bread, but not hot. And if I just open this up, I just want to have a look at the consistency of it. Look at that. I'll take one more slice. Now, what I reckon this would be good with, nice glass of red. Bit of butter. Look at that. Delicious. And still warm. I've got that lovely, slightly sweet flavour from the prunes. Actually, a glass of red wine is perfect with it. So this year, 17th of November, is Homemade Bread Day. Get yourself a bread maker, make your homemade bread, and you'll have loaves of bread like this, fresh and hot, to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's good stuff.